It's a huge if they can fix them. I don't doubt that, but their potential of winning games will swing enormously if they can just get on top of some of these problems.
It's a big if. It's a big if, certainly. I think Dust2 is going to be indicative of it, right? This should be the most comfortable place for PARIVISION. It's where they opted to start out. They really need to show us that they can go toe-to-toe with Bait. The other reality is because of that map advantage for Bait, this is just, they need 2 maps. They need 2 maps. If they can start strong on Dust2, this could be a very quick day for them. Now, I just said that. It's PARIVISION. It won't be a quick day. Even if this is a 2-0, we'll somehow find a way to drag it out. They found overtime in their last 2 matchups. Don't think that's going to change. Kenzie, though, might be changing the balance of this pistol. My goodness. Went for the aggressive move and lower. They knew he was there. They tried to crunch, and he just killed everyone.
Somewhat feels like a statement of intent if I've ever seen one. Just having all these discussions, trying to theory craft how could PARIVISION get in this series. Well, an absolute must is to win Dust2. And we can say safely from the offset, Kenzie has other ideas. He does not want to just roll over and die and say, we'll play this, slow and win our own map picks. No, he's here going for the jugular.
A little bit of contact. Made out towards long here. They are all hemmed in. Kenzie Zor has the flank.
I'm surprised they're aggressing this. You think they just play on the site knowing that Kenzie has the back, but again, seem pretty intent on making some sort of statement here.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got them all crunched in, you got nades to dump into pit. Once they're kind of stuck, they've got no way out. No reason to let them break containment, I suppose, is the logic coming through from Bait.
A player I think we should pay very close attention to during this series is actually Nota.
Okay.
Because for me, been the biggest surprise of this playoffs. But as we keep mentioning, Bait is a cut above. They're not going to necessarily make the same mistakes as some of these other teams. They're not going to give the same level of opportunities. Nota will have a challenge to maintain his level of form now in this series against this caliber of opposition.
He's been such a space creator as well. Like, I think going into these playoffs, I would have expected Belchanork to be that guy. And he has been at times. But I think it is interesting that Nota has impressed us more in similar situations and roles, where these 2 riflers are really meant to create a lot of space for their teammates to operate in. And Nota, more often than not, is the one succeeding in those. He's in towards lower this time. Much more passive hold from Bait with the smoke in towards window early. They're just wary of letting the players through. But now, look at the utility. There's one more smoke. Another one retrieved. Okay, so there is something else here. But it is still very limited. Alex can't quite find the kill. Flashbang is timely. That might have been a tipping of the scale. Still, they're going to fight in towards Cat. Travis able to trade out too. He's secured a bomb plan for his team. If they can just advance, and that's a blunder from Kenzie Zor. That is a full hash made of the spray. If he gets that kill, the retake's possible as it is. I'm surprised Esenthial is thinking about this. Gonna be taken out of play. Even the trade from the grave doesn't matter here. PARIVISION are ecstatic to take this through with 3 alive.
Travis has had quite a quiet playoffs, actually. For me, on some of his teams in the past, he has been criminally underrated as a top-end rifler. He has really enormous potential to be one of the best players on this team alongside Jame. So, I'm not sure we've seen the best of Travis just yet. Of course, that was a pretty mighty moment to get them on the board. There's still some more work to do. And check out Bait. This is, again, is the fear of PARIVISION in this series. Is they're just playing a very different brand of team. The other guys they've played have not got aggressive. Kicker traded, but that's good information. Look at this. They're going to capitalize upon it. They know that B has to be less defended because mid was so loaded. All we need is this trade. And surely it looks good now. B bomb site is never an easy retake.
No util. No kit as well. I'd be really surprised if they want this. It looks like they are going to attempt a retake. I know you're looking at this from the audience and saying, well, it's an even situation, but on B, that math becomes very different. Can't go through the window yet for Kenzie. There's nothing to flash him in, so it's up to his teammates to create some space coming out of the tunnels, and they know it. They know it. At this point, 2 players have been spotted. Information's calmed over. Kenzie's Zora is dead. And Hedrick is getting the heck out of there. Looks like he wants to play for an exit.
I think they went.
Actually,
I think they gave that too much of a look in. I think the move was essentially sit back and pray an over-facing player gives you a 3v2, then you go.
yeah.
Because now they're definitely ecoing.
It is the
Whereas-
other side of the coin for a young team like this, where they really want to play dynamic, they really want to play aggressive on the bait side, but at times they're not going to have the patience to cut their losses and play into the next, but maybe they should make the call. It's also interesting, you know, you were mentioning that we've seen a lot of more passive play against this PARIVISION. They may not be prepared for this aggression, but you'll recall, this is what we saw in that Dust2 game against Navi Jr., where Navi Jr. were really trying to fight, really trying to brawl early, and PARIVISION did an excellent job of starving that out.
You are right. That said, we might expect a higher level
Sure.
out of bait, and it's you know, the key with aggression is more often than not timing and making good reads and that sort of jazz. There's a bit of finagling here around the smoke. I can't believe
They just left the gap.
I can't believe Alex just found the kill.
They threw a really lousy smoke for that. And Alex looked at it and said, let's see what I can make happen here. Hedrick's got another. Just use P's on these players. They've even tossed over. Oh, I love this. I love this. And PL goes up, goes over. And Kicker's trying to get a little bit closer to this because he wants to be able to play with his teammate. And that was well advised. Jame, 2 HP, but an op is enough. He has survived. Look at the margin on this. This was 1 rifle and pistols. And Jame with 2 HP is the only survivor.
Can't believe that. It's also, of all the maps, of all the takes, a long take on Dust2 when they don't have any, especially when they don't have any HEs to break the cross smokes, that should be the highest percentage to clean up. Well, 9 lives are now ticked down to 8. That is for sure for PARIVISION. But at least they won the round. That's the good news. Money, bit of a disaster for both teams. No AWP for Hedrick on that CT side. So a little bit limited. You definitely want to have that AWP on CT Dust2. And for now, a very, very standard stance for the CT side. The exposed area for them is a B split. There is no CT in towards CT spawn. And it also might cause them to overreact now seeing this mid pressure. Let's see if these guys move on A.
Airburst Molly. Doesn't find Goose. That's what they were trying to throw for, but a misthrow there gives a little bit more chance. It means that Hedrick cannot capitalize. He tried to go wide instead of playing tucked. Kenzie Zor making a hash of this one means that it only turns into 1. So there's a chance for his teammates. Look at this late flank out through long for Kickert. He's going to have backs turned in just a moment. There's no way they expect this. And Kickert can only collect on the 1. Still time runs out and Belchinok chases it down.
Getting ugly some of these rounds. couple critical openers. I think the first onto the ramp player, Bates ramp player here, NPL. I think it was just straight through the smoke. It was. Kenzie, awkward spray, gets traded. Surprised coming from Goose, they decided to play so wide. That was a bit of a surprise. So a little bit janky from this CT side, given that they did actually have the numbers in pretty... I mean, given that especially without a Goose molly, you can't really ask for anything better than Goose ramp to deal with an A hit. They'll be disappointed not to have got more out of that round.
Belchnok's throwing that smoke a little better this time. And he has solo taken a site. Well, okay. Maybe should have waited for some support here.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe how much room he'd gotten towards long, but it does wind up costing.
I'm already nervous, you know. They were so strung out. Belchonok, it's not a bad move in isolation, but your teammates have to be able to capitalize.
Yeah. Now, it has bamboozled them. They think everybody's out towards long, because that's what you would think in this situation. They haven't spotted that the bomb's actually coming cat. Now they know. But there's going to be a lot of crosshairs pointing this direction. Things are going to get weird. Things are going to get very weird indeed, but the kills come through thick and fast. And it all settles into Head Trick. He's got a dig, but he's not got a chance this round.
Is it just me that feels like this is just absolute brute force from PARIVISION on a lot of these rounds so far? Not necessarily the most nuanced. It is group and go. And who cares if we hit the stack? We're ready for some fights. A brutish brand of Counter-Strike. Just the default for now. Slightly different stance from Bait as they're going to leave NPL close mid doors. So only 2 on A proper. There's actually nobody long for Bait. But they're kind of confident that PARIVISION will not take it out of noise queue. They've shown an AWP around there. It's incredibly unlikely.
They're really expecting this mid to be, aren't they? Ooh, James just taking out Head Trick. So now you're going to keep NPL locked in there, most likely. Means that it's super isolated for Alex. He needs to put in some work.
Wow.
And they've already gotten past him. Noda with that shot. I mean, this is his save. They've also cleared out the player in towards middle. So this is just domination so far. A kill there might give them an op that's retrievable. But PARIVISION, you're talking about brute force. It's starting to feel very one-sided in these rounds.
This more so than any other for my money. PARIVISION here are going for these guns. They want to ensure there is no chance of a force buy. They've probably already done enough to confirm that, but it'd be even better to ensure there's no rifles on the server, because we know what round they lost to a few ago. Yeah, you're right. It's been a little bit clumsy on a few of these rounds, but I think the standard gun rounds are looking excellent for PARIVISION. It's the pistol rounds, it's the anti-ecos that are looking a bit worse for wear at the moment. And this round, I mean, Jame had the number of Head Trick. NPL tries to react in mid. Maybe Bait need a pause, because I don't think this is a matchup where they need to try and be heroes and try and get super aggressive individually. I like it as a team, don't get me wrong, but don't think this is a match where they need to just force fights for the sake of it.
I think you're right. We've also seen... It feels like at times Bait are in the right macro positioning to handle what's coming at them, and the individuals maybe play things a little bit bolder, a little bit riskier than they need to, give up positions they don't necessarily need to swing out of, and I don't know, it's tough to diagnose exactly what's going on here, but hasn't worked out. That much is obvious.
It's fair to say they look a little bit cold, I think. That'd be a fair assessment. It's also... so what date was their last game? Yeah, Bait haven't played a game since the 8th. So, if you're looking at it from that perspective, PARIVISION have a lot more CS under them in the last few days.
3 whole days without an official? Wild.
I assure you, for bait, that's quite a long time.
Yeah, in the world of online Counter-Strike, that is an eon. Well, if they can shake off the rust here on Dust2. Reminder, this will just pull the series even, so there is more cushion, more room to rumble here.
Yeah, I mean, even on score, but there's still 2 map picks to come for bait. So if there is a map, we're going to have a slow start. CT Dust2 is probably the best place to do it in this series. Still, we know they're capable on this map. Even just individually, they should be competitive, if not superior to their opponents, who we expect. Bit of a sterner defense. Belchonok goes to work. Point man, as always, just needs the teammates to come over. And I think, Mike, they're a little bit hesitant, a little bit slower than previous occasions. More cautious after losing a lot of numbers to these pistols before.
Well, this time they have nothing to fear. Numbers are going to be punched in. Should be little interest in the retake here. Alex playing to see if someone gets aggressive, gives him an upgrade, gives him a chance there at 600 on that kill reward. But with the armor invested for Alex and Kenzizor, there should be, well, nothing for Kenzizor. But I'm surprised Alex is even sticking around. Why? What's the point of that? What would that have gotten you?
Style points, if he got some miraculous kills, but otherwise...
I mean, I get the 600 is worth it if you can get the kill, but you're taking a long-range fight with an MP9 into a lost site. I guess he's hoping that players are caught in transition, but PARIVISION are not going to be leaving those kind of gaps here.
They look more disciplined to me than some of the other series. So far, it's been a strange half of bait. I don't think I've seen a gun round where they've got late into the round 5v5 with positioning that they wanted. I mean, they had the one round where they got A exec and were just a little bit flummoxed. It's probably the only round so far where they haven't lost numbers early or tried to get aggressive themselves and it hasn't worked. I'm not surprised to see a passive opening from them. Slower round. NPL slips in towards CT to cover off a B split. So this is very much the ordinary that we're seeing at the moment.
Bomb's still back in spawn, so there's no commitment either which way, but PARIVISION are starting to stake some space on Catwalk. And if that's going to be the case, it's going to be eyes on head trick. He's had a rough one early on here. He's somebody we were highlighting in the pregame as being a difference maker for bait. They really need him to start hitting if they're going to have a chance on Dust2.
We had the one round, didn't he, where he's peeking up mid, and since then, it's been very standard. Very static from head trick. And we are soon going to have said B split. It's going to be 3 from tunnels, 2 out mid. What a kill from Travis. That could be the round winner. That is brutal. I mean, bait never stood a chance.
Not at all. Not at all. Great shot on the player back site. Essential, yes, it's a one and done position, but there's a reason why those don't really favor site anchors. And then trying desperately to get something through the smoke, MPL is erased. So it's just a save. It feels like reminiscent of so many rounds when PARIVISION actually decide on the hit. Bait are near powerless to stop them. This has to be a very frustrating half of Counter-Strike because so often you feel like you have the numbers in the right spot and they just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, that is the most shocking so far because they had util on the defense. They had NPL in CT ready to at least help his teammates. And they don't get a look in it. I mean, it's 2 seconds, the round is over. I'd like to see the replays to see how that B bomb site crumbled so quickly. Esenthial's playing close against the backside players taking contact. It's bizarre, Mike, because they have so many nades that it's not in a position where they can ever use them. Needs to be playing more for information than that. They shouldn't have committed to those angles when they still had util. Would I be wrong for feeling like this round borders on must win?
No, I don't think so.
Would 3 be enough?
It does feel...
What have they won? They won Pistol from Kenzie's 3K, and
Yes.
they won an eco round with a saved M4.
Yes.
It's not, you know, convincing. It's not making us feel confident.
It's been dire. It's been truly dire. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, they have to get something. They have to get one of these next two. They have to get something here. It just, this half has felt like they're utterly powerless. And so if you manage to crack one through, but also look at what they're playing with MP9s. It's so static. At least they got 4 here. They have 4 here this time. They have the numbers. They've got Alex and Headtrick stacked up on ramp. One Molotov can make their life very difficult. They're not playing disruptive on Cat at all. I think they're yielding some of these range advantages. Oh, there's that Molly. There's that Molly. Headtrick's forced wide. Doesn't cover off the second, but the spot's not safe. And Kicker can dismantle this site defense. Kenzie Zors trying to do something. MPL coming in to support. A paint into the corner here in Goose. It's down to a 2v2. Another position of 1. MPL coming through that smoke. That's not going to work out a lot better. And an MP9 from range now spotted up. Jame can go to the scope, and there's just 0 chance.
This is looking really scary now. How's Bait fared in their previous Dust2s? Because this is shocking me with how flat Bait have played. I mean, they played it a lot at Mesa. They played Heroic and Partisan at CCT finals. They're playing pretty good teams and beating them, Mike. I mean, they're playing scared. Bait should be the better team. They should be confident.
An opener, finally. Alex 666, maybe. Just giving them a chance. At least some sort of sweetness to take out of this first half, but again, Headtrick missing. Looking like he's loaded his gun with blanks. And now the advantage is gone.
Bomb.
Could get caught. It does indeed. Alex trying to make something happen here, but he overextends. And in the meantime, Notice cleared out the A-site defenders, so provided they can link up, provided Jame doesn't get caught here.
Only Jame would have stuck around that long. He really just needs to get a hightail to his teammates. And it's just esenthial remaining. Got to just get this bomb across in one piece, and this round is over. Yeah,
I think they even know where he is. Based on Jame popping off a shot earlier, they've certainly got a very good idea of it. He's been typically the B player. Gonna go to the rifle. Gonna give this a try, because why not? But this is looking locked on for double digits. Let's see if Essential can do something about it. Right into the crosshair of Jame. First shot goes wide, though. But the second will find home. Double digits on. Absolute domination from PARIVISION. And it's looking like Dust2 might belong to Pari. After a truly abysmal first half out from Bait, they need to get this train back on the tracks because PARIVISION right now have totally derailed them. They've TNT'd all these tracks. And Train's not even in the map pool for this veto. So how have they done this? Head Trick has finally been able to shoot somebody. It just took having a pistol in his hands.
Okay, what do we got? Full A control here for Bait. Decent plant for Pit, or the platform especially. I guess they'll leave plenty of players down in that direction, and there's no smoke for this CT side. This shouldn't be possible. This should not be winnable for PARIVISION. They find the first. With about 25 seconds to go, they're running out of time to make these moves. And these frags now are going to seal the deal. Second pistol goes Bait's way. Which is almost painful to say because they're on 3 rounds.
That's the reminder. Bait won the pistol and the second round conversion. That's what they took out of the first half.
No, they lost rounds. Second.
No,
they lost second.
No, they didn't.
Did they not?
No, they won the second round.
Did they win the eco with the rifle?
No, they got Jame down to 2 HP.
That's it. That's it.
It was close.
That's even worse. Yeah, you're right.
It was close, but no cigar. No, this was 10 rounds in a row for PARIVISION. This was 10 rounds unanswered.
That's a disaster.
It is. It is. Parry, once again, is going to let them win the second round because they went for a stack out towards long. There's nothing here, so we're going on to the guns. That's where things are going to get interesting. They'll come hunting. No reason not to play for exits. You have USPs, so might as well go try and find something. But Bait. You got the easy rounds. Now you got to win a real one. That's a nice find. AK and a flash. Just printing money out here.
Just reminding myself of the veto, actually. What order did Bait pick into? They picked Mirage first, and then Inferno will be the final map of this series. Should we make it?
Jame baiting his teammate who has the gun is just the quintessential Jame play. While he hears them running past, hunting down that rifle. You know, you can't get a leopard to change its spots, you know?
No. But maybe he wears a funky coat and he looks a little bit different.
He's got an op here, so the leopard's ready to hunt. Boost up from Head Trick. Had a rough one with the scope of his own in the first half. He's going to disassemble the boost. So he had 2 kills coming out of the first half. He's gotten 3 in the first 2 rounds, and now he has the op. The op was where he struggled in the first half. They've emphasized it as a purchase. We got to see why.
They might split this B-bomb site really soon because they've worked mid. Because we're focused on this duel, but mid is the real prong that matters right now. And Kenzie has tremendous space. Backpack flat payer is looking, and that is a miracle that Beltronok turns. There's nobody else mid to crunch Nota here. Very awkward round, and they need to deal with MPL. He is the cork in the bottle right now. They need to root him out.
MPL gets both. There's a little bit of a gap. I see he's inserted the eye as well to make sure we call him what he wants to be called. Mr. Nipple. But that is a hell of a kill. Pulls Nota back off a site. This would have been so very tough of a take for Bait instead. The captain of the squad stepping up. I like the idea of bringing Kickert off of Cat to try and rumble that setup, but there was just a little bit of disjointedness between him and the CT player, where if they'd swung together, there's no way not to trade. As it is, this is going to be a save. The op will live, a rifle alongside it, but it is crucially a gun round for Bait, the first of the series.
I find it somewhat shocking that it took NPL to find both those kills to seal the round because the call is sublime. It completely caught PARIVISION off guard. I am stunned that Belchonic was looking towards a window. So, PARIVISION did fairly well to make it competitive, but NPL, who presumably it was him that made the great call, is there to seal the deal. So what are we going to do? Got both these orbs going forward. Belchonic fully buys in. It's a bit ragtag. They got a good util. And Jame quickly boosted up on short. Does he feel like aggression?
Nadigen lower has been dodged at the very least.
This is incredibly early free B call from PARIVISION, and this is Dust2. You can't get out of it.
It's pretty wild.
It's quite similar actually to how they play Inferno, where for whatever reason they just like playing stacks. It's just their philosophy.
It's interesting because you almost wish they'd even commit. Like, if you're going to commit this hard into it, why not go further? Why not have more mid presence into CT? We'll see. Kickert's coming back out to try and enforce some of that mid presence. Drop a smoke on down. That keeps them contained, but it might actually funnel them in towards the light site. And PARIVISION are adjusting the stack now. Look at how many of these blue dots are on the move. We've still got 40 seconds. There's time to adjust here for bait. They're not fully committed. But around this smoke, Travis certainly is. As it fades, he is committing into the fight. Flashbang over. Travis ahead of it. And bodies stacked up. And Travis knocks him down. Looking to find the last. Head trick cannot connect. He's getting run down by the USP. That duel, at least he can win. But he's backed off. He's lost bomb. There's 10 seconds. He's out of time. And he might just be getting clocked. Finally an op kill on. The round cannot be claimed, but Head Trick is letting a lot of blood here.
Ah, it's noted as a nade. It's a shame. What a hold from Travis. All on Travis. I was really scared for PARIVISION out the round because they'd given so much control. So much. They didn't have long. They didn't have advanced presence on catwalk. They had that sliver of info from tunnels when Belchonic pushed. But outside of that, they were completely pacified and sat on the sides. Travis is a hero. And I wonder if the reason they're pausing here is that they recognized, probably Daztan might have recognized that could have gone south ever so quickly. They were just moving around way too much. They needed to just commit to holding something.
The flip side of it is, yeah, that might not have been the prettiest round. Yeah, they might have lost a few more guns than they expected at the end. But they're so close to ending this map. They're so close to ending this map.
It's also their mantra for this playoffs so far.
They get it done here. There will be little in the tank for bait to actually try and mount a campaign for overtime. Still with those double offs as well. Jame on the line. Nade a little too deep. But he doesn't want to stick around in the corner. Doesn't want to take the fight as they come up the Xbox. This Molotov. You get Jame off the corner. They're not going to throw it, and James going to punish them. Belchinock with the other up as well, chiming in, and now you're in big trouble, bait. A lot of teams have started throwing that Molotov to push the Opera off the exact spot James in, and bait just not ready for it. Jiggle at least will unseat him, but how much further can you take this? Jame is still around, and Travis to support. Molotov's good. They're going through the smoke. Going through the smoke. And kicker. 1, 2. Round over. Nipple with so much work to do. They're going to give him a tweak. He's been spotted. He's been tagged. And he's been fragged.
This is the best CS PARIVISION's played in this tournament. Fact. Might be in contention for the best CS they've played as a team. And what a time to produce it. Yes, we've seen them give away heavy leads before in this playoffs, but I don't see it here. 7 chances to end Dust2, and this will be the easiest. Pistols only for bait, and they look primed to hit B early.
3 players are here. 3 players are here. They've read this nicely. There's redundancy on it. They don't even need it. Belchanok, the first gate holder, is going to lock them out. Throw away the key. And find a conclusion here on Dust2. No way through. A blowout of Bait and PARIVISION are starting their campaign to move into the Pro League with a strong step forward.
It was fabulous. I mean, they had a couple rocky rounds, fair to say, at the start.
We will be soon. We will be soon. I was really impressed by what PARIVISION brought here in terms of not making the same mistakes that we've seen be characteristic of them through their run. They're looking dialed in. They're looking concentrated. And I mean, again, this is something that we highlight with PARIVISION, knowing that Daston's in that coaching role, knowing the work that he did with VP for years. When they've got the goal, when they've got the clear vision, this is not a team that harbors a lot of mistakes. They got the read in this round, I'll tell you that much. 3 players are over on B, and look where Bait are headed. They're calling Bait out here, and that jump spot's going to confirm what they already suspected. Here comes the crossfire. Players in position. Noda takes first blood, but now you got to hit headshots. And players cleared out. Do they know about Belchanok? No! And eventually he will get that kill in the follow-up as well. Nice flick around. Now reinforcements are coming. There's a flank developing from Jame. If it's even going to be necessary, it falls to Head Trick. And Head Trick can go no further.
Predictably, Belchanok makes a meal of the first one. And then the next 2 are just absolute clinics.
There's nothing harder than
he was lucky not to die there.
Pistol headshot. Something about a player's back being to you, it's just impossible.
Yeah. Well, he gets it done. And of course, Bait, despite the scoreline on map 1, they did actually win and convert both pistols, which is a bit of a concern. So PARIVISION, we happy to get on the board. It's not a prerequisite to them winning the map to do well in the pistol rounds, but certainly help a great deal. So just an eco for Bait. So we look towards round numero 3 for the first full investment for them.
That was the TK was the only casualty in that round.
And Jame can AWP, actually.
I don't know if Belchanok... Yeah, Belchanok was like, yeah, no, we don't want you saving that MP9. Or maybe it's that he thought they were about to get a kill on James, so he put him down to deny the kill reward.
I see. Tough love.
It's a ruthless world out there.
Bait can't afford to get off to a bad start again. Not an option. Be hitting hard from the start, and this is a very quick round. 2 fast up catwalk. They can split this site immediately if they desire. Travis off angle, other players by Van, and Travis needs to win this duel. He doesn't. Kicker's in a lot of trouble. Swiftly traded, and I think they should just save. Yep, they should just immediately save here.
Absolutely. They've got no interest in it. Backing away. That's a nice way to assert themselves. I mean, the gun rounds were few and far between on Dust2, so heck of a way to get started here. Critical to the confidence, I would say. Right, Bait only won 1 gun round on Dust2. They start off with the first here on Mirage.
So I'm intrigued to see in the replays if I can work out where Jame is playing, because the way Bates took mid there was very aggressive. They never slowed down. I suspect an AWP in window would have done problems, would have caused problems for them. So a very aggressive call, it pays dividends. Whole round kind of comes down to that Travis duel, and certainly wasn't easy for him. I'm not blaming him, but as soon as he goes down, Kicker never really stood a chance. Still, the saves were handy. They banked some cash on the anti-eco, so it's still a very good investment for PARIVISION. And this round, more mid. Look at this, double window. Start with the rifles. James in towards connector to cover off somebody running fast up catwalk. Slightly slower look this time for Bait. They certainly want mid, but it's nothing like the aggression we saw in the previous.
Little nade exchange there. A nibble on notice. He's gonna get into the window, but there is Travis waiting here in the ladder, so could be interesting, especially with Jame coming back.
They're playing 0B right now, PARIVISION. That is one hell of a call.
They've got the read. Let's see if they can capitalize. Here's the swing out. Travis back exposed. That's the bomb. That's the bomb dropped into jungle. And Kicker says, jungle is my domain.
Kicker's the Bianca. So for him to be there that early in the execute is a difference maker. And this round might as well be over. I think just save, right? Because you're going to be buying on Hedrick and Alex. Kenzie can at least Galil. Sevio could drop a Galil to MPL as well. Yeah, I'm actually stunned by that one, Mike. That was... I don't know what info they had or what read they had, but they were taking a bigger risk than a lot of people might realize, leaving B that exposed.
I think we got a heavy bit of ante coming into this. Based on what we're seeing, based on... I mean, the first tip-off was in that pistol round, right? And I do wonder whether... I mean, this is the most played map for Bait. There is the most data out, and it's not particularly close. They play a ton of Mirage, and I wonder whether PARIVISION is coming into this with a very clear plan regarding tip-offs and tells that tell them where the round is ending.
Well, we've seen on other maps that they do like a stack. That said, I'm not sure we've really seen that so much on Mirage for them in this playoffs, but
no,
certainly in their character to do so.
This round they got it wrong, though.
Yeah, and Beltran is not in a good position to get off of USIL here. He is in big trouble.
Timely smoke, but they should just brave it. Flashbang, waterfall out. The Palace, one spotted. If you can get two, that's tremendous. Noda finding more, but no. Esenthial will rain down bullets, eventually collected. Plucked over means man advantage. Awkward on the smoke pock, but Travis recovers. Nipple, he's got that bomb planted, but he's not going to be able to get off the spot. Kicker makes sure of that. Bomb defuse, AKs retrieved. PARIVISION looking strong here again.
I'm not sure Travis knew that smoke was about to burst. The way he was moving. I think they got away with that a little bit, PARIVISION, but I think the real work was the lightning fast reaction to seeing the nades come over. They got a smoke onto Palace. Granted, they didn't make a massive difference, but it did a little bit to kind of spread out these seeds. You can see on the minimap, Notice come through the jungle smoke, and then Jame, it might have been a full-blown spam. I'm not sure if he saw over the top of that jungle smoke, but he got a pretty pivotal kill as well in the midst of that. So, this time it's just a half buy for that T side. And at what scoreline, Mike, do you start getting scared?
If this turns 6-1, it's also the manner of it, right? The thing that had us so concerned on Dust2 wasn't just the scoreline. but the manner in which those rounds were won, it just felt so dramatically one-sided. This one's a pistol. Kenzie's or might catch Travis here. Will indeed. AK is a tempting target. Well, that will lure him to his death. Like a siren singing sweetly to sailors from the rocks. I think it is all about the manner. Right now, it looks like PARIVISION have good reads for what bait might throw at them. They're responding well, even in that moment where they might have been caught out of position. We need to see bait challenge them. Bomb down's not bad here. Oh boy, it's getting very good indeed. Alex with the deagle has lit the way back into this round. James gone to the rifle to try and recover. They still are limited, but the two hand cannons might be enough. These players have armor behind it. They'll double swing. That's one way to quiet the demons, to quiet the doubts, explode back through, and steal a way around you had no business being in.
I can't believe that. Unbelievable from Alex. Unbelievable. Lifeline as well. Their gun rounds in this series have been very worse for wear. That's a star play in a grand final. That could be... I appreciate it's not a quad kill or some insane ace, but in terms of impact kills, those are, in terms of winning a grand final, they're pretty far up there. Pause in for PARIVISION. They take stock of what's just happened and figure out this investment. Buy kit, Jame. I know you like saving your money up. Somebody needs to get one.
He refuses. Rejects your implication that his money might be better spent on anything but saving for another all. So no kit. We'll see if that haunts them. I'm right now trying to peer in towards middle. Staring at that smoke. Begging it to part. And mid control, at least for the moment, has been seated over towards bait. But you can see the double stack in con. They're ready to fight. Should that be the direction of approach here from bait?
It's a kind of a free B lean, really, isn't it? It's very well poised to deal with a B split, and PARIVISION are making some bold calls on this CT side. Kicker doesn't need to push. He doesn't need to get aggressive, but he wins. And I'm in two minds, Mike. I actually hate the aggression, but it works.
They're coming back to it, which is interesting. Right, because it's a pretty good read. You're saying, all right, they got this kill on the deep push. They might pull off of it. We were set for a B split, and now they're committing, but losing the player on catwalk means the split is just a single.
You just save. I mean, esenthial can drop an AK. I think you save.
That would feel so bad.
I know, but...
They're thinking about it.
Take a note from the VP book, you know.
They're going to go through. And that's going to brave James off as the big thing as well. First player out. James can't connect, but the FAMAS of all guns delivers. And now it is just Head Trick. And Head Trick's flanked up, and he's dropped on down.
Can't believe they're up 5-2.5 when they lost to Pistols.
This is now 3 rounds, I want to say, where we're looking at the early setup for the VP and saying this is a very heavy stack, calling out exactly what bait is going to bring to them.
Bit of a Freudian slip there, setting VP, but I'm with you.
Did I say it again? Oh,
yeah.
God. It's just the DNA of this team is so consistent with what once was. PARIVISION. Goodbye, Noda. Nades in towards the window.
I've got a hunch they intentionally missed that smoke for window. It's a dangerous round. There's 3 AKs on the server. This under push kick at the timing could be brutal as they boost. just shielded with the smoke until now. They should know that Window's exposed, and Travis seems pretty well poised indeed he is. So well communicated, and a good cleanup here in mid.
What do you do if you're essential? Come out to death, tuck and save for a minute, probably to death. There are no good choices.
We're reaching that scary scoreline now, aren't we?
I'm scared. Yeah, I'm very scared for Bay. They are. It looks like Kicker's got their playbook, their play sheet in front of him in half these rounds. Even that one, they do something unorthodox. They do something surprising. They get the 5v4. And then immediately the answer is that underpass push, which finds one. They're prepared for the window peak. They're prepared for everything. They're just so ready, our PARIVISION. And Bait, to this point, can't hang. And again, Alan, look at Hedrick's scoreline.
Non-factor. Non-factor. It's also... It's quite incredible that the anchors in Beltronic and Kicker are topping the server. That is not traditionally what you'd see. And I think it's actually... I imagine it's actually from the flanks and all the pushes and all the moves they're making is... They're not really playing like anchors. They're so mobile. No pause. Continuing straight on. Their money has been a bit of a mess as well on this T side. They should have listened to me when I said save. Guaranteed another buy.
I'm sure they'll be hiring you as their accountant soon. Alan Hender, Accounting Services. It's not a crime if you don't get caught. Belchanok finds the first. That is not financial advice. Let me make that clear. Bomb's going to be planted. Even number situation. Yes, they're still unarmored pistols, but they need something improbable to break their way. They already got one eco. Already got one round off of the Deegs reminder. Why not bring through two? Retake is on. Utility out. Player close up. That's Mare. How has Hedrick gotten two? What on earth? Jame doesn't expect another player to be close on. MTL wasn't revealed. And now Noda just has to back away. He doesn't have time for this.
No way.
They've won 3 rounds, and 2 of them have come from pistols.
All I would give to see the Hedrick on board. I need to see in these replays. Right now, we missed it.
How's he get the
They must have just lined up. It's the only explanation.
He can't hit a shot with the op, but you put a P250 in his hands, and he's a terror. I can't believe that's the one they bring through.
PARIVISION make their lives so hard, man. They have been incredible on gun rounds in this series. They can still make a good T-side out of this. PARIVISION don't have any money in reserve. Their loss bonus is on 1,900 right now. But implicit in that is that they start winning some gun rounds. And Hedrick finally engaged.
It's got to feel good. P250 pop off. Hedrick on an angle. That's got to feel so damn good.
PARIVISION should stack, and I'm quite confident they will. Certainly in their DNA to make moves like that. 47 seconds to go. There's actually 2 smokes still on this CT side, so this could get reasonably hard. Beltronic takes ramp. Jame gets a kill from behind, and Beltronic wins the ramp duel, and there's 30 seconds left. They're getting pinched. What is happening to Bait? They're so indecisive.
They just never get on. They just never get on. 20 seconds. This round's over. MPL's just going to try and save. Complete
PARIVISION made that look easy. They made that look easy.
At this point, if you're bait, you have to say, okay, what are we running in our pistols? Just run those. Just hit sights fast. This slow mid control
you
is
jest.
dire.
If you jest, but at some point you have to be pragmatic and say, let's just start stripping away variables.
Yeah.
Let's play really simple Counter-Strike. Because we know if we get it to an afterplant, we have a chance. We've seen that on the pistols.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has to be agonizing for bait right now. They win a round they have no business being in.
Yeah.
They're thinking, holy cow, our fortunes are changing, and then immediately get choked out in the next gun round.
With the rounds they've won, you'd expect to be the team up 7-3. If not more. It is, in some ways, a kind of a sick statement from PARIVISION that they can be winning this hard when losing such ridiculous rounds on occasion. They are not winning this series if they don't win Mirage. I'm sorry, but they can't win Mirage. I'm calling it. PARIVISION are going to do this.
It's Ancient next. It's Ancient next. And PARIVISION like themselves a bit of Ancient. Kicker's taking the space again. He has been phenomenal as a space taker, but if he carries this too far, yeah, he's going to get spotted. This time, an overextension. Should have been content with the kitchen, but he wanted the whole damn restaurant.
They will not expect 2 on B right now, and actually James here too. This is a mighty defense considering they lost their B anchor.
All the bodies are here. Jame goes back to look, though, wary that a player could have slipped through window, and that actually might compromise. This is usually Kickert's spot, so Noda being here might be a surprise. But Messi on the fight. This is why they've got the layers. This is why they've got the reinforcements. Kenzie Zor's trying to come late up middle, but straight to the crosshair of Travis, and now Head Trick is stuck. 20 seconds, time expiring. He might just be backing away from this one. He's got no appetite for the approach. And it's another round where bait just can't even get out onto the site, where they are read like a book.
Yeah.
PARIVISION, the authors of their destiny.
Kicker wins that round posthumously, doesn't he?
Yes.
He pushes, dies, gets the information, and they commit 3B.
This is actually such a Kicker god game when you consider the fact that he's the primary IGL in addition to the individual moves he's making.
Yes, he is unquestionably the MVP of this final so far. I'll gladly hand him the MVP of the tournament if they win, if they continue winning in this fashion. It's that impressive.
It is fair to some degree to question as well. Obviously, he needs a lot of support in the mid-round just because he plays such committed positions in towards B. Needs a lot of information translated his way. Jame is going to be communicating the information of, I am shitting on them in mid. I have killed 2. I pushed up. I have decided we are not losing to pistols again. Me, Jame, I declare it thus.
This map feels over already. I mean, it looks disastrous. PARIVISION will be on 9 in no time. What a tremendous first set of halves they've had on these 2 maps.
Spotting one more. They know that Alex is here. PL will come to join him. They're contained. They're hemmed in. There's no flank just yet, but look at the positioning from Belchinok. That's just because they've chosen not to get too aggressive on this. Can't hit a shot. Can't track one of these players down. Desperately needs some sort of a gift. And with the double up in jungle, with that player still waiting in the ramp, this is going to be such a hard setup to break. The trade is there. Noda was the redundancy. MPL, he just slips away, but tagged up through the panel. Does he know that Belchinok is still waiting? He's got the idea. He's making noise. He's trying to bait out a peek. He's been given a chance, but there is no more quarter. 9 rounds on the board. PARIVISION dominate. I've got some bad news for Bait, which is they look terrible in the first half of this play. I've got some good news, though, which is that there's a second half, Alan. They've still got a chance to make good here on their map pick of Mirage.
It's not necessarily good news, because this could end quickly.
It's the best I could come up with.
It's neutral news by definition. Right.
Look at the space that's been given. They're going to get a bomb
They have to
plan.
win this, man. At least they've got a kit. You know there's a high possibility you retake it, so they should have a plan at the minimum.
They've got a smoke as well. Need to get the first beachhead. It's kind of a classic retake setup here. Nipple gets 1 damage, but the kills are all stacking up for Bait, so there we go. Flawless in the pistol. A team ace coming through. If there was one way to get your confidence back up, that would certainly be it. Now, that being said, the one thing that hasn't been a problem for Bait has really been the pistols.
No, if it was pistol only, they'd have the trophy by now. But still, I mean, they'll be up to 5 rounds, assuming they don't blunder this one. It's not a totally insurmountable deficit. It's just our confidence in Bait come the gun rounds is kind of rock bottom at the moment.
Yeah. This is the first hurdle. James put armor behind this. One's James spending more heavily than his teammates. It's a bit unusual to see. Except when it comes to the op.
Well, they'd love a plant. For Jame in particular, he's actually bought quite a lot, so...
I guess the silver lining I see is that it did feel like... Hold on. Hit's been through. And hit's been rebuffed. Tetrick has to fall off. Alex is pretty committed. If this jungle player goes down, they could be in trouble, but nice idea there for Nipple. He's got the right read. And at this point, should have the round. Only the one casualty. Alex out of play, but otherwise comfortable for Bait. Let's say the one silver lining here is a lot of why that first half felt so stifling is it felt like PARIVISION always had the read, always knew where they were headed, always had the stack in the right place. Can't really do that now that the roles are reversed. So maybe for Bait, being able to read and react will give them a little bit more ability to influence this map.
Yeah, a real strong suit for them on the defense of Dust2. So I'm very confident
True.
in Bait on the CT side. It's been such a perplexing series because everything we come into this thinking we know about these teams has not really played out. The only thing that has been consistent is that PARIVISION can't for the life of them play up against Ecos.
Yes.
That's the one through line of this playoffs.
If you're just joining the map right now and you're wondering why we're so amazed by this scoreline, yes, it was a 9-3 half. 2 of those rounds were Bait winning with pistols. One of them pistols, no armor. It was astonishing, frankly. They could not get a gun round to save their lives. Pressure in towards a ramp. This could be pressured. There's a player in Palace. This is the AAA setup, but Nipple has responsibility for window as well, so he's going to be half in, half out in most of these moments.
Certainly don't have many options here, do PARIVISION. They've got one smoke that James lining up for window at the moment. Bait do come out of their close ramp setup. They're going to go into sandwich under balcony. Window smoker now over the top. James did actually have a second at his feet, so second goes on towards connector. And they'll leave Travis alone.
Market. This is the read. They think this is a B hit, right? Look at the nucleus of players that are concentrating on the apartments that are ready for this. This does mean it's going to be super isolated. Alex forced out by the Molotov. Ooh, this is good. They're turning the screws now. Esenthial, he's got to be it. He's got to hold up. Finds the one, but he just doesn't have the gun for a multi-frag here. So advantage available if they can deny that bomb plant. There's only 10 seconds on this clock, but no numbers punched in. And now you've got a choice, bait. Do you want to commit back in? Or do you want to cut bait and live for another day? Travis cleans up the con player. Now it's just these two at ticket, and they're not interested. They're backing away.
They might not be able to save. Travis is in a position where he could face the murder hole. It's another round, because we saw it on at a round of Dust 2 as well, didn't they? Where it felt like they should have just saved. This is quite similar, where I think they were always up against it, winning this retake. I think they're going to save these two guns at least.
Yeah.
PARIVISION immediately on the board. And, well, PARIVISION won the first half with great reads. They have lost this first round, attempting the same. Something we've seen across these two CT sides for bait is it's so rare they have real information to make decisions off. Now, Dust 2 is definitely geared towards that being always a problem. But they can't allow that to be the same on Mirage. They can't be in the dark for so much of these rounds. There's nobody on the sites.
Oh boy. That's a nice nade. That's a nice clear up, but you're right. There's a lot of space on these sites. Fortunately for them, PARIVISION are pressing it. Kenzie's ore is down. So there's some moments of vulnerability here, but PARIVISION failed to capitalize. Now look at the stack that's being assembled. MPL still in transition, but the bulk of this presence is towards A. And while Jame is still a little bit of a wild card here as they take mid control, it does seem like this is going to be the pinch on in. Belchnock's game purchase here at Tetris. Needs this kill, can't find it. And now as they come through smoke, a dink onto Kickert, a kill onto another, a nade can chase. This one disintegrates. PARIVISION, no purchase in towards the site itself.
Seems going to have a save here.
Of course.
Jame, and I do not blame him. Very bold decision from Bait to load 5 into mid. They certainly thought more of PARIVISION were out. I think it was just Nota behind the boxes. So, bit of a risk. Fortunately for them, nobody for PARIVISION was advanced on the extremities to punish. Equally, they might not have quite had the read of just how many numbers were in mid. So, important round.
Hit him in the nose. Oh, my glasses. You broke my glasses. Ooh, spam up top. No easy mid control for you. You're going to have to at least fight for it. They've got past that spam. Yeah, you got to be a little careful. Yes. You don't even have the luxury of a silencer. They know where you are. Lucky that those tracers weren't followed back the other way.
So much more mid-laden take for PARIVISION, just in case it was fought for again. Makes sense. And now they just drop back 5A. There's no lurks. There's nobody elsewhere. They'll know that the CT's on A still have some util, so this will need to be explosive. They need to beat this util. It's actually probably good for them that this util's going down now, rather than as they're trying to execute. And no turns a nade. They might just go.
They're going through. They're going through. They're pressuring on. Molotov in towards the underbalk. Alex is safe, though, and they don't realize. He took the deeper angle, and as such doesn't have to swing, and now this is looking a little stunted here. Nice, timely swing from Headtrick. Supports his teammate. Alex can stay alive. This was lackluster for PARIVISION. stalling out at the worst moment, not playing together, not exploding on towards the site. Looking hesitant.
It's tough though. I mean, when they come through the smoke, it's not like a standard hit. You've got to be, it breaks up their rhythm as it was when they're forced to come through the ramp smoke on the nade. They were really scared, the Palace guys, of making the first move. So it kind of just felt like dominoes in the end. Communication also seemed a bit peculiar for PARIVISION. They couldn't get that information over that there was a player committed on the balcony. Okay.
Not deep enough.
Well, we're getting in the territory. We have a map on our hands. This is the first time in this series where Bait have looked comfortable.
Truly. It's a nice start. She's taking some of the danger out of these pistol rounds. Needs to harass mollies to force players out into your crosshair. Head trick as well. Nice recovery. He's been doing it with the rifle. But hey, if that's what you need, that's what you need, man. Getting kills. He's at the top of the board for his team, and that's exactly where they want him to be.
Jame keeps buying so much on these half buys.
His mind is an enigma.
That is certainly the truth. Plenty of content to support that. And somebody, I guess his Nota, has dropped the AWP to Jame. Got a decent A spawn. He might go for Palace, actually. Let's see. As PARIVISION take their second pause of the map. It's almost like they're in touching distance, isn't it? They're really close to winning this, but now they need to find T-side traction. And what weaknesses do they see in this defense?
Mid control taken. Got the players waiting outside a ramp. This has kind of been the rinse repeat of rifle rounds. They're holding on to mid a little more aggressively here.
Just watching this thinking, when does Palace come into play? Does Alex flank? Does he sit here and chew them up as they try to split A? It will be an A split. I don't know how they deal with this position. Palace is so strong right now. And do they respect it in the first place? Is there any util? Is there any focus in terms of holding Palace?
Head trick back on that all up. He misses his first shot, but he'll get more. Going to take it, committing. He doesn't realize they're so far out. And there's the punish. But they don't know about Palace. They don't know about Palace. Alex is the key to opening this back up. It's a 3-on-3 right now. He will deny that bomb. Drop it on down, but he's losing teammates in the meantime. Kenzie's just revealed his position here in Sandwich, and they know where the last is. He's so low. Jame can go to the sidearm for this, but he gains altitude instead. Santa Claus is on the roof. And I don't know what he's waiting for, but he's found that reindeer.
I've got to call out head trick.
Get off that off.
I'm sorry, I mean, you've got a player in Palace. The round is over. You just have to sit and hold. If you just hold the default line, how do PARIVISION plant, let alone win the round? It's impossible. Why are we getting up on ticket? His head's all over the shot, Mike. I mean, he's obviously not had a great series, but wow. That could have been Bait winning this map. They close out that round.
They've bought the op again. They bought the double op this time. So Beta going all in. This is all in, no cash to spare. Every dollar spent and emphasis put on that AWP means Kenzie's not going to have util, and they don't have a kit. All on the line.
This map is so important. They were smashed on Dust2. We come into Mirage. It's Bait's favorite map. They played it loads. They beat it against some of the best. They win it against some of the best teams in the world. And it's far from PARIVISION's favorite. Yet, here we are. They lose this. It's a horrid force buy for Bait to stave off 4 map points. For PARIVISION to take the lead in this grand final. And they decided their best answer is this double AWP. Esenthial on B. Headtrick is over towards Connector. Esenthial decides I want to take some more space, a deeper line.
These AWPs both ring out. There we go. That's why they bought them. That's why the emphasis came through. Kicker tries to get aggressive with that MAC-10, but no one's behind him. So all his space taking, it's for naught. Travis and Noda backing away. Are they going to give this an attempt? Knowing this team, this could genuinely be a save.
Their money's a disaster for PARIVISION. Critical round for Bait to stabilize. We didn't see the fight in mid, but an important kill for Headtrick. Esenthial chimes in next. The double AWP pays dividends. PARIVISION are going to have to pause. Because it's all well and good saving these guns, but we see it all the time. It throws their money out of balance. And I think they need to buy. It is a really tough decision.
I think the full belt of util on Noda as well means that if they buy around this, there's actually quite a bit that they can do with the nays. So they are going to go in. They're going to go in. They're going to do this. They're going to chase. I don't mind it either. There's a lot you can do in terms of a side execute here. Seems like this might just be the straightforward A play. Keep it simple. You got limitations. Okay. Throw the nades. Hit fast. And Alex dumping the util belt quickly here. Means that once this smoke fades, they might be in a bit of trouble. Here comes the exec. Smoke's over. Section them off. This is the classic execute you'll see at every level of Counter-Strike. They're waiting for response utility, but it's not coming. It's going to be Headtrick on that AWP. This is everything. Flashbang to push him off the angle. He's got a kill, though. Critical find from Headtrick when they need him. The flashbangs, though, are so good that Noda can take space, and he can follow it up with another kill. They're planting. They're planting in front of Headtrick, and he doesn't have a nade to pop, but Essential, he's going to pluck one away from range. That's Noda out of play. Kicker
Watch Jame.
in Firebox. He's just got that Tech 9, but there's that flank from Jame. It's coming through. They may not give him time, but now they know where the last is, and eventually James going to be right on in it, but Belchanok won't even require him.
That might just have been a championship winning round. I think you're selling them short, Mike. It wasn't a standard execute. It was, we're going to throw these first smokes. We're going to wait. We're going to see what happens. Then we're going to throw a deeper jungle smoke so that when our initial smokes fade, we can take all that space. And that's what Noda does to catastrophic effect from the perspective of Bait. 3 map points to take the lead in this series, to make it so you only have to win your map pick in Ancient to actually close this out. A tremendous opportunity. Trying to caught in Palace, though, means this A execute will be a lot harder to pull off. They need to take CT right now. It's the only option.
Bombs down. Kenzie's expecting this play, expecting to try and take this space, and Kenzie's gonna catch one off guard as a result of that. Kicker had no idea he was tucked around the corner. Travis, critical trade, but Noda, he was spotted. Jame is ready. He spots. He's got the shot as well. Jame picking the team up when they need it, and Travis trying to carry them over that line. Jame denies. Trying to chase down this kill, and Jame just baiting you, tempting you, teasing you before he finishes off the whole damn team. 13 rounds secured on Mirage. One more, and PARIVISION are through to the ESL Pro League.
Where was this PARIVISION earlier in the playoffs? They are spooling up to a complete...
Back into the server here. Now it's Ancient underway. Thank you for bearing with us for that minor delay. Want to make sure everything's on point here so that it's all about the Counter-Strike, of course. And look at this. PARIVISION, once again, have found the light sight. It's just Alex playing retake here. Smoke's going to go over. There should be a bang-on bomb plant. Question is, can Alex claim anything before that bomb does go down? Answer, no. They're going to fight forward. They're aggressing. There's 3 players here to defend. This is a brawl, but Belchinok is connecting the headshots. And another one back into the fray. They have just completely shut down this retake before they could get anywhere near the site itself.
Kicker is a madman. Aggressing short like that. Kind of oversee it. We're just so focused here on long. Kicker goes through the smoke. Somehow doesn't die to esenthial behind him. That is wild. And a spicy start for an in-form PARIVISION. Going to be a 4-spy for bait in response. And a 4B loading. Okay. It's not just PARIVISION that can stack. Bait's turn.
Talk about trying to make up for your mistakes 1 round too late. 4 players in B to start. They're going for some aggressive control. They've got some smokes, but at this point, that's all the util. So PARIVISION just playing a little patient, taking the space up. They've got 2 players through donut here. They have once again diagnosed the vulnerability. They've taken a ton of ground. And if this turns into a retake, there's just no nades for it. Fight on the boxes. Despite all this forward approach, they kind of failed to capitalize, and losing the window player as well. This has suddenly been a huge reversal of fortunes for bait. Now they spot one more. Got him locked down. It's all on Travis. And while he might be able to find some damage, the round seems unlikely. 2 players here for the defense. He's getting rid of his own gun. Trying to limit what they might be able to retrieve. Getting this AK off of his teammate. 25 seconds. Be careful not to get clocked here. It's Alex right around the corner. And he won't be able to snatch that AK away, but it is just a save attempt here from Travis. He doesn't have time to get over towards that B site, so they are going to try and run him down, and he will not be able to slip the net.
Yeah. Such a polar team, aren't they? PARIVISION. So good on some rounds and some others just complete non-starter. I do think that one though was predominantly incredible shots from bait. It did look a bit haphazard though from PARIVISION trying to come out of donut. They had a window where they could cancel, but especially after losing, I think it was Jame lurking out towards window. Oh, they had no alternative. So, PARIVISION reset. And They're taking a double eco on T side. Why?
I don't know. Vibes? Should we be convinced they can get a bomb down, perhaps? With just these pistols? Hard to say, especially if you boost people into tree one by one. Kenzie Zor is going to feast on these eeks. And this one seems to have been a little bit of an error they would rather soon forget.
Well, I'm expecting to see another very heavy eco now. On the kick-it-led squad. Clean stuff, though, on the reverse. Money's already looking really good for bait, and PARIVISION are going to invest.
They're in.
What? I don't get it. You can't reset the other team.
The mind it boggles, but here they go. They've got the space. Flashbang, if they just check long, what is happening? Did they forget that position existed? Okay, it all falls to Belchinook. He's got a 1v2. I mean, there's a chance here. They had the perfect flash. Hedrick was so blind.
This is just a confusing round.
Looked at him.
It's confusing on so many levels.
Him. Was that supposed to be smoked? I don't understand it. Belchinock's gone all the way through, and he's going to reroute and wrap. But the thing is, by this point, there's so much time that NPL expects this. Still, Crosshair's not on the right side of the cave. And so it's down to the clutch. Like, they could still make good. Belchinock faced the wrap in towards ramp. Essential, though, is not fooled. He's not fooled, and he's not going to miss.
It's a decent try from Belchinock, but I dare say, I'm not sure it ever should have got to that point. It might have been a lazy clear or something. It just looked bizarre.
No one looked. No one looked at it.
Maybe they were getting spammed.
They're all three looking at cave. I just simply, he was so, that 3D replay illustrated where they were looking, but what it doesn't illustrate is that he was so blind. If one of those three players glances his way on the initial swing, I think that's a guaranteed round for PARIVISION. I mean, there's a reason there's a timeout coming right after that. Because, yes, they're up 2 maps, but you can't be losing these silly rounds for PARIVISION. There's no reason to make this harder than it should be.
So what do we got? Hero AK onto Belchinock. Trying to keep this bait economy low. Don't mind it, but we need to see this paying some dividends. It's a decent mid spawn, but instead looks towards A. We've got 2 smokes. What is the plan? Early smoke thrown in for Donut. Mid smoke as well. Nothing in response from bait. Now comes the molly. They must have made a noise cue. Surely Hedrick heard something.
Seems like we're going to get a straightforward explode here, and with the crosshairs in the right place and the donut player as well. There's the spot on the first. Confirmation of what they already suspected. Bait with a good read here. And Kenzie Zor, my goodness. Doesn't even need to see his opponents to spray them on down. Complete non-starter of a round. Maybe Jame can justify the save, but Kicker, it's time to go die. Kicker gone. Jame painted into a corner and soon to follow. Clean as you like here for bait.
Certainly is. It's going to feel good. Feel really good. Their money also was getting a bit treacherous, but now much bolstered. So they can sustain maybe even 2-round losses as long as they're saving guns. And we look towards PARIVISION. Start asking questions. How do they change this T-side approach? This round, bit of a default. Delayed mid-take. Nobody home, though. Passive stance from this CT side. Should have mid soon enough. Hedrick, though, is playing in front of the donut smoke. It was off in the end. So mid seeded to the hands of PARIVISION.
A little bit of tag exchange there at ramp. Nothing conclusive here from PARIVISION. Hedrick's got the right line. Ooh, Belchinok's thinking about testing him. If there's a flashbang for this, you can get out, but a try peek. Easy as you like there for Hedrick. Looking a lot more comfortable here on Ancient. But a peek back into Jame. That's what they were hoping for. MPL, though, on the boxes might be a bit further than they expected. He's going to punish to the tune of 1. Still, there's an A-main player, and that's the bomb. That's the bomb! What a kill for Travis. Had to have it. Had to have it, and he does. And now there should be time for this plant. And the question for bait is how much do they want to commit into this retake? They got money to spare. Essential's going to come looking. Nearly denies the plant. He does get the kill. And now, in an even situation in the clutch. Here comes the rat back in. Kicker it and Noda to try and lock this thing down. Noda on the big box. Starting to clear out, but a barrel gives them away, and now it peels his attention away from Kickert, who can finish this.
That was a very Virtus Pro-esque round. The way they pump the brakes here, and they're not scared. Take it a little bit slower. Jame is totally trained on that repeak, and Hedrick, it's got to be said, has not had the better of Jame over this series. Absolutely not. Still, though, big kills from Travis. Important kill in towards A tunnels. PARIVISION need to go again. They blunted the money, but this is the death blow. This will force some eco rounds. They get Beltronic out mid early. Seems a cave clear is going to be on the cards next. Or do they just go up ramp? They know a player's advanced in towards Jag. And they might just go.
I think they got a ton of space on it. They got a ton of space on it. It's going to be tough to hold in the late round, but everybody missing on Belchinok now. This gets a little cleaner. And Belchinok just dismantled this cave setup. They had a double up for that exact fight. And they couldn't win it. They couldn't trade it. Another rough break for bait. And this time it means before they could opt to go for the retake, they could opt to take some risks. The money's gone here, Alan. It has vaporized all too quickly.
I'll confirm it in the replay, but I think what happened there in towards cave is they were playing out towards the Jaguar side with bait. Hedrick was holding the side that Beltronic peeked from, and his teammate was holding the other. And I think Hedrick missed his shot. Beltronic got past his line, killed the unsuspecting teammate that fought. Hedrick had his flank. And then chased down Hedrick for good measure and kills him too.
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, it was.
No,
yeah,
Hedrick wasn't on the angle initially. He peeks back in, and then he misses.
I think there's a... I heard a shot, so I think there's a bit missing from that replay. He must have got jiggled, fired a shot, then fooled. Still, though, Hedrick not having quite the impact we'd be hoping for.
No, you can't get back to that, right? Beginning of this map was looking better. We've had doubts on each of the two in the series so far. We cannot get back to that shaky head trick. They need him to be bringing it on the scope.
Let's give Kenzie some credit. He has played a fabulous map so far. And look at this aggression. That is wild. I mean, completely through a smoke. I'm not... unless mid is a much more formidable presence from Bait, I'm not sure how that works. It's wild.
It's half of the aggressive play that you usually see. Alex gets one. Alex gets two. How on earth? Time to buy some scratch-offs, because that is a great bit of fortune.
Guys, just play the advantage. Why? Why are we trying to be a hero?
PO wants to do it again. Wants to clear out this fight. Belchinok right here. Body's whiffed on the initial spray, and not enough bullets find home. And now you've got a very wounded Alex who's making loud noise here on the ramp. One bullet will take him out of play. And that bullet will come from the barrel of Noda's gun. Head trick is in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't know which way to turn. They can take whatever they want. Belchinok has A. There's time enough to have both sides. He could actually catch the bomb here. There's a chance.
Jame wasn't born yesterday.
He wasn't. And Noda's looking for this. But 30 seconds, time makes fool of us all. And head trick tucking. The bomb gets tossed over. And it's well that it was, because head trick is going to make this interesting. Bomb won't be planted for him. Molotov spreads, but Noda is able to brave the flames.
Bad
smoke. That should end it. If he trusts the smoke, Headtrix is dead, man. And if he doesn't, he's probably dead from cave. Had the right idea. Knew there was a gap and exploited it. Now tucked in the corner. He knows, but he doesn't trust his read. And so Noda can bring it through. Headtrick did his damnedest to put together the pieces there, but it is still PARIVISION.
They're just trying to do too much.
It feels that way. But I mean, even in that round, considering the gifts that Alex got coming out of Cave as the second aggressive player, they couldn't
need to cut their losses sometimes. The Kenzie one really surprises me. He knows better. And, you know, earlier in this playoffs, PARIVISION, they've stumbled and they've lost maps. Yet in this grand final, Mike, they seem to stumble and get up again. Every time. Every time we're like, oh, Bay's going to streak ahead and get 5-6 round lead. No. They just immediately answer back. And they're doing it on the gun rounds every single time. They're built on such a solid foundation of good calls, good reactions. They're the stable team on the full buy rounds.
Seems like we're going to get an A main explode. It's a good call in this situation. You really just have Headtrick who can do anything about it. He does have a deagle, but a Molly back boxes would make his life rather miserable. Support coming in from a player on Cave. Now they know he's here, and they don't even need to commit the Molly. These smokes up. Bomb planted. Kill onto Nipple. Means that this should be locked in for PARIVISION. They will pull into the lead here on Ancient.
This feels like a series where I'm seeing the roles for PARIVISION really make sense. Jame, of course, is AWPing, but Kicker, mid of the map positions on T side. No surprises there. As an in-game leader, Belchinok plays the extremies, but likes to go in first on the executes. Travis, predominantly extremies, but he's such an experienced rifler that he can play wherever. And Nota in the pack, always dangerous. I like it. It's good team building.
That's a nice way to get this round started. Double man spray down, blinded up, and knowing your angles straight into the elbow. And straight into the stat sheet. Kenzie Zor trying to drag his team through in towards rounds. He's done a ton of work early here. They're going to bring the pressure on towards B. 3 players grouped here. Timely smoke means that Travis cannot go for that peak. So how do
Don't think they'll
reroute?
consider a save. You might as well try and at least keep the economy low.
That's a nice way to start. The hero of the round so far is now laid low. Your talisman gone. And look at how far back Bait are playing. If
Yeah, I
smokes
mean, a
come
bomb
in,
plant looks pretty likely at the moment. Is there any util here on B? No.
can't deny
Smoke
it.
for shorts. Have we got anything for long? Molly should ensure a plant. This is already much more dangerous than I expected.
Bomb's going to be down. Into the post. Travis staying alive for the moment. Jame getting some shots, but he's low. That's a massive kill. Tries the flick around. Didn't have the health for it, but had the right idea. Spots the player getting away. Kicker can collect. Now it's just these players coming from CT. James going to go for the reposition. They'll play the bomb, and there's no smoke to cover this off. There's no kit. A nade is risky for Jame, but they've deployed it. They're sticking on the full 10 second. There's the peel away, and that's the round. Head trick, he can't do this. His glass cannon as well, so he doesn't even want to risk it. Oh,
my God.
No. Abject disaster here. Kenzie Zor, what more can he do? Dominates middle. Takes out 2 right off the rip, and still the round slips from their grasp.
That might sting more than any other. Jame again catches players. That was a bit different. It might have even been a jump spot from Kenzie, but Jame is so dangerous. Why give him the chance? It's just a peek. It's not necessary. They're in a man advantage, a huge man advantage. After plan is played to perfection. That's a significant stride towards Pro League that round.
An advantage again, but as we've seen, that's far from conclusive, especially in a round where the weaponry is limited. Jame has brought that back immediately. Head trick, though, continuing to lay down the law. He saved this off from the last round, right? And he's making good on it here. Alex might find a flank, might find the bomb, but he's looking for the gun at the wrong moment. Glancing down, not keeping his eyes on the prize. Head trick continues, though, to pluck away bodies here. He's giving this a damn good shot. His best opping round of this series, I would say. And now they're grouping in the right site. Got the bodies in the right place. But it's just going to be the one. Head trick. He might have missed the critical blow. No! Finally a strong round on the op, but he misses the shot that matters most.
This must be agonizing to watch as a Bait fan. Absolutely agonizing. PARIVISION is starting to find a way to win. And Bait are running out of time. By hook or by crook, PARIVISION are salvaging these rounds when maybe they shouldn't be. And Bait have not lacked for opening kills. They've had so many good starts to rounds. This one, though, very different story. Their aggression is thwarted. Util already in the doldrums because they just spent so much trying to fight. Oh, this is a nightmare, man.
It is. It
It's
absolutely
just the
is.
whole series for Bait has just been a non-starter.
It feels like they're trapped in an anxiety dream and they can't wake up. Aggressive move denied. Advantage early, somehow ripped back away. You're hitting rippers. You miss the 1 round kill that matters most.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're headed into the empty site. Bait opted for the stack just to give themselves a chance at this one, but of course they're gonna have to attempt a retake. It's the last round of the half. Bomb will be planted down long before they can get over here. They don't have a kit, Alan, so a retake is gonna need to be very speedy if it's even gonna happen at all. They'll make their moves. Belsh not cleaned up, but he's a canary in the coal mine, and now Jame can sound off. Moves through that engagement. Nade to harass, and bit by bit, this is falling apart. Headtrick has to get on that bomb, and there's so many targets between him and the C4. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. But what might be is PARIVISION through to the ESL Pro League. Just 5 rounds stand between them and victory as we head into the break. We're live for what could be the final half of this series. PARIVISION keeping the pressure on for Bait, and now Bait have to fight back from a deficit. 8 for the board shows. And Bait, who came into this with a map advantage, have found it to be anything but advantaged for them.
You might be just about to see another kick at CT Cool Masterclass 4A, and Bait are about to split into this site. What a call.
Oh boy, Jame has found the first as well. He was maybe just the bait to lure them in, but now, ironically, they have taken it. And the player on tree drops the bomb. It's a 2-on-2, though. Situation's recoverable. Essential's gotten his hands on that C4, but as these smokes fade, it's all going to be on this fight from Jame. Can't take it. Falls into the clutch. Travis, they're swinging him, and he can't find the headshot, so Bait somehow shoot their way out of the jaws of death.
Looks suicidal as they went through the tunnel smoke. Let's watch this again. Yeah, it's the site proper. Belchonok will be disappointed he couldn't find more. That's where the round tumbled. It really should have been PARIVISION's, but they blink. A monumental, in terms of the scope, was that pistol round win for Bait to keep them in this series, in this grand final. Full eco for PARIVISION as they look towards rifles in the following. See if they can get anything out of this one. 1 kill onto esenthial. I dare say there won't be too much more to follow. Just noted that remains and he is elsewhere.
Holding down the spray, and then as you run out of bullets, head trick just comes flying around the corner. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about capitalizing on the chance that your teammates gave you in that pistol.
No seems intent on making us wait here.
Please go plant. The final kill does not matter. Why are we fighting this far off? I know you've cleared everything, but maybe you overlooked something. Just play the bomb. Hat-trick will clear this.
Mm-hmm.
If there were ever going to be a ninja chance, they really did give the opportunity.
Right. Rifles out now. Let's see. Bait plan to make a game of this. PARIVISION are no strangers to close games of Ancient, as we can attest. Quite a marathon series they played a couple days ago. It's Kenzie takes
mid.
Yeah, there's nobody here either. If you want to go
This is
further.
what we highlighted in the pregame. This is maybe the one big vulnerability we saw is PARIVISION at times play so far back on mid that you just allow a lot of space.
It's hard these days to hold mid. Not easy. Don't entirely blame them. If they can react well on the sites, it's not necessarily going to matter. It's Belchonok. Look at him. He starts to clear A tunnels. Travis smoke to block the cave. Does Belchonok keep going? He does. This is enormous information right now.
Jame.
He just won it. How's he won that?
Not sure, but he has. Lost a lot of his health in the process, and with this heavy cave presence, and now with a wraparound from ramp, I mean, they're going to be well positioned for this retake. Jame is going all the way around the world. Classic Jame move, but Belchonok has just cleared out the first ramp player, so this is going from bad to worse. Double K fight. Did they expect a second? They do indeed. Flashbang's good, though. And so's the trade. James making his way up. He's spamming the panel, but a couple critical kills, and Jame, again, so low means Noda has to come in as that first piece, and he'll be the last as well. Time enough for that defuse. Only just, but just is enough. PARIVISION in their first gun round. Bring it through.
Yeah, it was really awkward actually holding the site because players got up ramp. They were 2 in cave. They would love to have full Jaguar control, but they didn't. They just had to smoke in the choke point. In the middle of this, Mike, Jame got a spam kill through the ninja wall. He is crafty. He is crafty, that Jame.
It is also just that instant recognition where he's like, okay, I'm low. How do I maximize my health? I go all the way around and spam the panel while my teammates are retaking. He's just... The gears are always turning for Jame. He's always thinking of how to maximize the margins.
This round is so big for bait. It doesn't even bear... You don't even want to think about where their economy lies if they lose this round. The answer, put bluntly, is bad news. Okay, Jaguar taken mid. Starting to be cleared, but they have not crossed the donut line. How many smokes? Got 1 smoke left on Kenzie. I don't think he wants to use this for donut. He doesn't. He uses it for the red room. So for now, with noted jiggling, PARIVISION have decent vision. Players starting now to group in towards donut on this T side. Timely smokes the block, and they're going to go in front. Nota goes wide. Does not find his man. Beltronic up next. 1 down, but only 1. But the rotates are endless. The cavalry keeps coming. Next up is Kicker. He might find 2, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Travis has a lot to do in this 1v2.
They're planning right in his face, though. They're planning right in his face. Such a risk. They misread where he'd be. He's just trying to stay alive. Oh, boy. Hits the initial headshot, but Alex does manage to slip that one through the goalposts.
Nothing's going to come easy for anybody in this series anymore, is it?
No, talk about a margin call there on that round.
Where did they think Travis was?
Donut.
I guess they thought he was Donut.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's another eco for PARIVISION. Bait are in this map. But I don't know. PARIVISION have been so good over this series that it's hard to bet against them now, isn't it? They've looked so fantastic the whole way through.
Ooh. Little jiggle on the approach. Bait have found the gap. They found the easy sight. It's just pistols in this round, so we weren't expecting much. But it's nice for Bait that they don't walk into the stack. On Mirage, it felt like they had a radar detector that only led them towards the stack. This time, not so much. Means that the gap is going to shrink to just 1 round here, Alan.
I would love to do some economic damage as well. This is going to come down to very fine margins. Every buy round could make a significant swing. The percentages for each team to win this map. Etric's getting a little bit crunched here. He's doing well. Hasn't been his day on the AWP. I kind of wish he would just rifle more and be a bit more pragmatic in this series, because he has looked good this map on the rifles.
He has. He has. He started to find his footing a bit on the AWP, but there's still been those gaps. I mean, look, in the weight of it, he is still their top fragger by a fairly good margin, right? So Headtrick has been the engine that's fired up. He's the reason why they're in this game at all. Op is out for Jame, though. That is brought through, and it was dropped to him. And he returned to Galil. Thank you very much for that, op. Have this gun.
Fair trade. So a very passive stance on PARIVISION. They really have been loath to fight for mid over this playoffs. Obviously in this game, focus on the here and now. They like a passive move, and Jame breaking the smoke almost is caught by Kenzie.
I must have caught the lip of the stairs, I'd imagine. Oh boy, coming through the smoke. Coming through the smoke. Noda nearly tracks one.
Oh, he's playing a dangerous
that could be
game.
a problem. Re-smoke. They're coming through it. They're coming through it. And now they're in with numbers, and nobody's here to defend A.
Save.
This is a save.
Yeah. And we spoke about it all series. PARIVISION like a stack. They like a stack, and obviously with Jame low, he felt like he had to cede a lot of ground in Red Room, didn't he? Got a real match on our hands now. Money is going to be good for bait. They haven't been close to as good of a scenario as this on the previous two maps. They were never in them. This is a very, very different kettle of fish and a type of pressure that PARIVISION hasn't felt yet in this grand final.
Who stumps up to drop Noda a gun? That'll be Jame. Had a little bit of cash in reserve. Had that op saved through. So this is going to be a very comprehensive buy. There's still the Galil is a limitation, but otherwise this is pretty perfect. It's what they want to be rocking with. Actually, interestingly, 4 players without head armor. And there is an A1S in the hands of Essential. Aggressive play from Belchanok. We know he likes this corner. We saw in previous matchups.
Trade-off is it means he's way off his teammate on A, and that is where the thrust is coming. They need to rotate right now.
He's going back around. James on the line. Kicker coming back in from spawn as well to play on the boxes. Jame hits the first shot. Notice found a kill elsewhere. That's in the elbow. So now it's just this A thrust. And Kicker's out. They don't know about that. He's denied the bomb. Knew the plant spot they liked. And Pepper's MPL down. A dink exchanged. But a headshot there, and it was Essential. So that's the head armor coming back to cost. Belchanok would have won that duel if he'd bought a helmet. Still don't think it's going to tip this round. Definitely not after that.
No.
There's no world where you can go for this.
What a hold from PARIVISION. That was a brick wall. This will be a save, surely. Okay, so 10 for PARIVISION.
This is where they like to play too, isn't it? In the margins, in the extended game. We know how much they love an overtime. If you're bait, do you have the mental to withstand this?
I mean, it's got to also be said, a few days ago, PARIVISION looked like they were going to lose to Batera. Batera looked like the better team. Batera had their chances to win Ancient, and when we were watching that game, we did not think we'd be sat here in a few days with PARIVISION 3 rounds from Pro League after dominating the first 2 maps. They're so close now.
Big brawl here in middle. Flashbangs are so good. And Noda and Belchanok go straight into the blender. A nade pop. Jame can't bring this one back, and they're chasing him with utility, so he's got to give it up. Bait are brawling. And this time they make good on it.
PARIVISION need to make the tough decision to at least ensure some guns are pulled through to the next round, whatever happens. For now, it's very segregated. As Bait hit the pause button. They're waiting for an over-aggression. In the meanwhile, Kicker is caught.
That's going to pull them to the wrong side. Travis is backing away, having lost the A player. I mean, they have to do it, but just in that moment, Alex starts to activate. Find that no one is home on towards B, so a bomb plant on, almost certainly a save for these remaining two PARIVISION members.
There could even be a hunt here, because these guns are so valuable for PARIVISION. Travis goes down next. And Jame has to save. He is fighting for his life.
He's the expert of the save. They'll take the first, but the trade's too quick. Alex back into the angle, and we are all tied up. There's money enough to buy into this next one. There is money here for PARIVISION, but we're going to get one amazing buy from both sides here at 10-10. And this next round feels like it could just decide the map.
They have more of a buffer. They can take a round loss. Economically. Potentially not. We reflect in the end, but you see my angle. And Bates decide to start 4B here. What are we going to do? Boost the AWP. And even their mid presence immediately comes back. They're going to go, Mike. They're going for it.
Go. The bodies are here. They've got the numbers. That smoke is timely. They're going to have to go through and into the crosshair of multiple players. The flashbangs have been so good for Bait, but they need them here and now, and they've seen too much.
Yeah, I don't think cancelling necessarily an option. They're so scared to reroute because, I mean, PARIVISION could be anywhere. They have no idea where PARIVISION are.
If they go to the window, it's Jame holding court with the AWP, but PARIVISION are trying to anticipate this potential rotation, and yeah, they're coming through. Jame, he's got the one. Now they know where that AWP is, but they're still going to keep facing. The adjustment is on here. Now the numbers are whittled down, but it's a more standard B hold, so as they come back into this, this could work out. Is there a Molotov? There is. Does it get thrown? Travis, it gets one here. That's the bomb. Committed. A second, nearly. Another rotation is on. Noda escapes. Keeps the numbers in their favor. Spam on here from Belchanok. Looking for damage, but it's the Molotov that might do it instead. Kenzie forced off the angle. Oh, not enough to commit to the spray. Look at the damage, though. The health is getting so very low. The nade doesn't quite finish Alex. But a whisper of a bullet will do so. But head trick the collat from out of nowhere. Head trick might have just saved them. They push into Jame. He's holding this angle. He's patient. As always, means that it's all on head trick's back. There's no kit. The op deployed. They need to get stuck on this, but the kit is down. And Hedrick, he doesn't actually have a line on this defuse. Kicker's going to fight into him, and Kicker will claim the kit retrieved, the defuse on. It's right down to the margin call, but PARIVISION keep themselves out ahead.
Unbelievable. There's just so many layers to this round. Hedrick must have thought he had the play of the series there with that collateral kill. This, I mean, first of all, I'm stunned that this is the first pause in this map for Bait, but this is the most important round of the tournament for Bait. There is scope here, Mike, to force potentially even a double eco, which is impossible. It'd have to be forces because there aren't that many rounds left in the game.
Yeah.
It would have to be 2 force buys if PARIVISION lose this round.
Unbelievable. This is the first time out for Bait.
That's unreal. That's absolutely unreal. Oh my god.
They've left it late. Head trick with that collab.
I can't believe Kicker is the highest fragging player every map for this team.
He's been phenomenal. Calling suits him. He's been phenomenal in this series. A little bit of tag damage. A lot of util dumped early here for Bait. They want to gain the forward purchase. They wanted to punish any potential aggression for PARIVISION, but In this round, it's PARIVISION sitting back on their haunches a bit. Noda coming clearing in towards mid. And James in the same angle he was in the last. This is very reminiscent of their setup in the last round. Nade pop. Nade pop. Could work. Tag. No kill. But it was the right idea, and it does confirm some information. How do PARIVISION read the tea leaves? They're reading this wrong. They're backing off of B, and now as Travis backs away, Bait might just find an invitation to fill the spot. They're trying to clear in towards mid with numbers. They got the right idea, but they don't go deep enough. Kenzie Zor, he's finding damage. And the B-site defenders are gone. It's a save triggered for PARIVISION. They don't have the money to sustain these losses. Bait are going to take us the distance. We are going to go for all the rounds.
Absolutely. The tension is enormous. The Red Room fights. Have you ever seen Red Room fights be so important? Holy smokes. 11 all as Bait tick ever closer to pushing us to the maximal number of maps. For those unaware, Bait had a map advantage in this series. They're from the upper bracket. PARIVISION have won the 2 maps played today. It's only by virtue of that upper bracket advantage that Bait have a map on the board here. They're ever so close now to evening up this series. The buy from PARIVISION is... it's painful. Travis got a gun on the ground. MP9. Can they afford to play standard? I'm not sure it's an option with this sort of investment. They might have to throw a spanner in the works.
Tick on the molly. Essential is through it. A swing. A dramatic swing, but no dice on that. Alex there to keep his offers secure, and at this, they are out of there.
Yeah, it's the only thing you can do. It's the only option. What a bold decision from esenthial. He just ran for a molly to go for that opener. At 11 all up against a 4 spy. That is wild.
It's ballsy, but it's working. They've been hammering this B site. Round in, round out. And it has netted them a map point. But as we've seen for so many teams, it's one thing to find that series, that map point. It's another thing to keep PARIVISION out of OT.
It's not a given that these guns are going to survive, Mike. The crunch is coming. 1 down. Make it 2. Can James scoop a rifle? He can. But that's all they're going to have.
That's it. So here's my question. If you go for the gamble here, do you stack up the numbers on B? Based on what we've seen so far from Bait, they've been hammering this B site. They've been taking this space.
Oh, that's kind of the mind game, isn't it? They'll, in their pause now, they're thinking the exact same thing of, have we shown too many early B hits? Have we shown too many B defaults? We're about to get crunched. I think PARIVISION should play 2 into A tunnels. I think it's been neglected by Bait for a lot of this game. We did see it earlier. We saw some good flanks. For me, that's the move. Get a player into there, play a more standard mid-round, and let that A player push when Bait show presence towards B or mid. Bait will group early in this round. They are it's too nerve-wracking to play a really complicated spread out round, isn't it? You wouldn't do that in round 24 of a grand final.
Run boost attempted in towards middle, but there's so many mollies here. Belchinok still does it. And into his death. They're familiar with that maneuver. Still some spam damage here onto NPL. But an advantage early, and now they're going to press this through A main. It's Jame on the other side with a FAMAS. Coming through the smoke, though. Jame, he connects on the first, and there's a gap on the second. So for the moment, at least the numbers stabilize. That's a huge find.
He was alone as well. probably would have been map over if he gets traded. This is so nervy.
They're going to come back towards old reliable. The B hit. They've got presence in mid to keep that window peak from coming through. And look at the read. James coming towards it. Fighting in towards mid. Do they have this idea? There's a Molotov for it. This is beautiful. Now the numbers in the advantage. They know there were 2 here, so they got to hit now while there's still not reinforcements on the site. But if a couple kills come through, anything to light the way back in. There's no nades to force them off the plant spot. That's the problem. There's spam instead. That was a risk for Noda. Thought he might catch one stuck onto the bomb, but instead now he's giving the advantage back to his opponents. And that might be the move that cost them the map. There's no second dimension to this. It's a player stuck in the corner, desperately trying to spam away with the 5-7. They know they have a player pinned here, but Kenzie Zor has no reason to move off. Jame collects the first on the ramp. How? How is Jame doing this? It falls to Head Trick. It feels destined. They've swung past him, but Head Trick goes to the 5-7, sorry, Tech 9 to try and seal the deal here, and a headshot will do it. A true head trick achieved. We're going to the last map of the series. We're going the distance here, Alan.
I can't believe it. Jame gave that everything in that after plant, but not enough. PARIVISION plays these CT sides with a lot of stacks. Maybe you have to alter your T side a little bit to deal with that. I'm not sure Bait plays many teams that are going to take as many risks as PARIVISION will with the stacks. They won't necessarily get away with their regular game in this series.
Well, whether they win pretty or win ugly, you're absolutely right, Alan. The only thing that matters is who's going to be the champion of Season 49 of the ESL Challenger League. Who's going to move on into that Pro League spot? Who is going to emerge victorious? It all ends here on Inferno.
Out of interest,
about those stacks, look at B.
Out of interest, Mike, if you had to guess, who's going to be in Pro League?
In
Which
this
way
moment,
would you lean?
I'm still leaning PARIVISION, just based on the weight of what we've seen in this series.
Yes. I agree.
And in how close those final rounds of Ancient got. But who's to say?
We've praised Kickert stacks a lot this series, but this one is about to be wrong. Nota can't even get his smoke off. And there's no kit for this retake. They need to be speedy with getting towards B.
And look at Alex. He's poised to punish. They knew that he would be here. They had the jump across. They're ready for it, but still managed to get one. Noda's been tagged up as well. Noda's been eliminated. They didn't expect Essential to be so deep into this fight, but Kickert and Jame, they're going to keep this in the realm of possibility. They have to go so quick. And that smoke that Noda had has been lost somewhere along the way. So it is a straight up fight that is required. Kickert cannot overcome. Pistol round on for Bait.
It was always going to be so hard for PARIVISION when they lost that site without a kit. Decent try on the retake, but these two in the end. Kenzie Zor head trick. Set up as old as time. U-box in dark. Right. 4 spy for PARIVISION. Okay, Jame for a second looked like he's going to full eco. He doesn't in the end. What have we got? Smattering of pistols, some smokes. And I think they've actually dropped some smokes somewhere, presumably for Kickert on B. And in the meanwhile, there's a 4A stack. So Kickert here has to stay alive. And he doesn't. This might already have to be a save if B is seeded.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be quintessential Inferno already. And then you add in PARIVISION's particular predilections. And you know, we're going to have a minute of watching nothing. This is where you wish you had the demo fast forward button live in reality. But it's not available to us, Alan. So instead we just got to talk about what's on the line. We've set the stakes earlier, but it's always possible that viewers have just joined us. Winning here gets you a spot in the next season of the ESL Pro League. And for either of these teams, that is a massive coup. Neither are stalwarts of the top tier scene. Bait have played themselves into a position where they're getting invites They'll be in the major. That's a critical victory here for Bait. But PARIVISION are very much on the outside looking in right now. And a chance at Pro League might be that invitation they need. Somehow no one's looking at Belchenok. Belchenok has punish. So will not tilt the round, but suddenly there's an AK that can live through, and this has gotten very expensive. AK denied.
Certainly has. And this is a game where every kill matters. Economy is going to be everything. And Jame saves an AK out of that. And he's got his own, but he's got his body armor that he brought in. I'd love somebody to get some flashes or something to bring him into play. But yes, regarding the stakes, Bait you've discussed, reasonably similar stuff for PARIVISION. Of course, they're a little bit lower down the rankings. I think one other consideration here from the PARIVISION perspective is this series alone, plus the prize money here in playoffs, that might tip them a little bit even before they get into Pro League and get those games as well. So in terms of PARIVISION's arc and trying to break into the top scene, this is probably the biggest series. It might be the biggest series they played this year. Be this or the route into the majors, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think probably the majors tips it. But what's going to tip in this round?
I guess it depends how you weigh it up. If they never truly had a chance, if they were never in a qualification game, then this probably is more important.
Bomb taken away. Certainly a save. How are we getting on the hunt? Alex wants it. There's a couple Mackies out here, so they will try and shoo away this armor. They go on in. Tree player could be interesting here. James out of play. That's the AK, but of course it can be retrieved by a teammate, provided one is alive to get it. They're again committing a lot of their own rifles to this. That will be a Noda as the sole survivor. One AK taken through and no bank to build here for Bait as they fully went into the battle.
Yeah, that didn't feel worth it to me. One saved AK, a little bit of body armor. I'm not sure that added up. I'm not sure the reward was there in the end. And their money is fully invested really into this buy, isn't it? They're not going to be in a good position if they lose this round. This has suddenly become very important because of Bait's inability to keep players alive versus the pistols. And an early call to get up mid. Thankfully, one of them has at least realised the bomb is not on location. Big kill from Headtrick. But they can't commit behind this without the bomb.
Swing in for Belchenok only does net the one, and with that, this round is likely done. Be a hell of a risk to send these two rifles in. There's temptation, especially if they know the damage that they've done on Essential, but yeah, it is Inferno.
That was a very pacey round.
Beta bringing the fire. They're carrying that momentum over from Ancient, and they're getting right into the fray here against Perry.
Yeah. And in the kind of the middle of that round, PARIVISION never bought. They never realized the numbers towards A. The two B players didn't move. They were completely stuck fast. It probably would have been time from the initial mid fights to the apps move to actually get a third player over, but they didn't believe it. They never thought it was a possibility for Bait to end that quickly. And did I just see another kill at the very end there to snatch another gun away? Might have.
Yes.
It's not insignificant,
No.
Mike. I mean, it probably would have been a full investment with that save. Not anymore.
Belchenok's dropped the ult. That's interesting. He has been, to quote an old term, Sanji'd.
Yeah, some confidence in your main man.
Kicker. That's a nice way to get things started here. Considering the limitations that they do have. 5v4 off rip. That ain't bad. And they still don't know about the op. It's aggressive in apartments.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising because you'd think in a round where you're trying to catch your opponents off guard with the buy, can somewhat play a pretty standard position because you're gambling that they wouldn't expect it. Instead, he's aggressive. They have got some info. They've seen nothing. Now Travis peeks in towards brackets, still sees nothing. Beltronic starts to lean. They've got numbers, Mike, but not necessarily the guns. It's going to be really hard on the pistols to hold their ground.
Oh boy, that's a hell of a headshot. Out of the D, dives in for more. Well, more cannot be had. Beltronic felt like he had to make the hero play as his teammate was lost at new. But 2-on-2 though, this is workable. Are they going to commit? Jame at times. They're keeping that op out of play. The pistol swings. Now they got the op posted on the angle. Vetric goes wide. Smoke out for the other. Alex feels like he has to make a move. So much is designed just to pressure this, and that does force Hetrick out. It's exactly what Jame wanted. Now he needs to get stuck on, but Alex is swinging. Jame comes in. Does he have time?
I don't know. It's really close.
It's right down to the wire here for the full 10-second defuse. I think he's got it.
A dropped orb and a saved M4. A retake, Mike, where they had smokes. They only had smokes. They smoked new box and dark. Unbelievable. I can't believe Jame wins this one-on-one. Had his pistol out for a good few seconds. And that could be a lifeline in a map where PARIVISION struggles to get traction early on. And as we've mentioned, the rounds have been so costly for bait. They have no money left. Absolutely nothing. If they lose this one, it will have to be ecos to come. And NPL there is kilometers ahead of his teammates.
Trying to take that space. Did rumble the aggro app setup, but at heavy cost. There are 3 players here in the defense, so it's a pretty good setup for PARIVISION. Firing towards pit. Beltronic playing in the cubby. Smoke to cover him. They'll move their way up the lane. But James coming back to address that. Beltronic withdraws from that cubby. Smoke's on over. A counter available here as well. Time is starting to become an issue when you can see that 4th player floating over in the form of Kicker. So now numbers are going to be on towards sight. Travis knows that he needs to hold here, but he doesn't need to be first contact. That's Jame. Good dink. No kill. A couple follow-ups, and James doing his work, but he's not enough. Look at the health. The margins, they're thin, but this bomb's going down, and now Noda, it's a 1v2 with a lot on the line. Either economy will shatter if they can't convert this round. And so Noda will give this an attempt. A crossfire that he has to break up on top of the truck. A good idea of where both these players might be. But altitude still needs to be found. Shot in the back. How is that not the killing blow for Alex? There's a smoke here. Noda can put a smoke down. That's exactly what he's going to do. Needs to get stuck on. He has the kit. But before he can slip in the cover of smoke, Alex finds the shot he needs to put that round over.
Alex found an absolutely colossal hat-trick of frags here as they round onto the site. PARIVISION were just lobbing men in, trying to play off each other, but the timing wasn't brilliant. They maybe could have done a better job of all exploding through that motor smoke at the same moment. And PARIVISION. So the roles are reversed, Mike. Now it's PARIVISION that win on the pistols, but can't establish any economy. For those that missed map 1 and 2, this was the story of Bait. It's kind of a mixed bag buy here. It's not a full investment for this CT side. Still, though, this much invested, kind of need to win it, or it will be an eco to come. And this round has not played out whatsoever in their favor. It's going to be 6 for Bait.
Starting to feel reminiscent of these first maps, but the other way. This is becoming dominant. Even if the rounds themselves have felt so very close, so very knife edgy at times. It's just so very difficult to sustain on the CT side.
Wonder where their buy is going to end up. Kicker would love to save a rifle here.
He might. The palm would have cost him his life if he stuck around. So no gun gain for Kicker. Fair chunky util actually to take through. Smoke 2 flashes, and this buy is actually going to be pretty darn good. Jame will be limited. Unless
Kicker
Travis
could
wants to
drop an
totally
AWP.
sacrifice.
Kicker does drop an AWP. Or he might. Jame can M4 him, so it's no love lost for Kicker. He's all right. Something we did criticize with PARIVISION earlier on in this playoffs was they wait a long time to use those pauses, and this felt like an opportune moment before this half gets out of control. They are really getting into murky waters now, getting into the territory where these gun rounds have got to start working. They've got to make whatever play they go in for effective. Clearly the call here is for Banana. Nota is left. Kicker could do to drop him his smoke as well. Just yet. Okay, he leaves it in CT. Irish going to lean 4A with that information.
Comes the wrap. Kenzizor trying to take the space. The only one to defend here, and the flashbangs are tough. The numbers tougher. He's down and out, and this is already a save, especially now that Beltronic has been claimed through the smoke. Bomb is down 7-1. PARIVISION without even the ability to compete in most of these rounds, and sticking around a little too close is Kicker, and he's going to get burned.
Great call from Bait. We've spoken all series long about the potential here for PARIVISION to have done some good preparation. Bait here were convinced that it was solo towards the B side of the map. They're convinced it was a rifle. And they were right. And they went through the smoke. Right at the choke point of B. Overwhelmed. This is getting out of control. This is final form Bait. Have PARIVISION missed their chance? Was Ancient the moment to book their ticket to Pro League? Just feels like they haven't even been in the last 3 or 4 rounds, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I mean, it's kind of what you've highlighted here, Alan. It's been a bit prophetic. They've gone for so many of these stacks, and so now it feels like Bait have got a read for it. They found the empty site or the light site often enough, and they hit with force and momentum. They recognize that when that stall out util comes through, it's better to test it, because if you get out on the other side, even if it's with a trade, the round might be done. They know where James Opp is. This one's a little bit more of a traditional default. 2-3. But space out of the boiler. Nadage onto Kenzizor. But a lot of information for NPL. But he's calling the troops back over, knowing that Jame, having revealed that AWP, might be rotating away, which is exactly what he's done. They're going for a retake on Banana, but if that's exactly when the A hit comes through, could be big trouble on for Beltronic and Travis. Reinforcements are coming. Can the cavalry get here in time? They are racing for it. Going to be sectioned off by smokes. They'll have to go through. Here comes the hit. It's all on this. Can these players stall? Kicker back through the smoke, and they can do better than stall. They can start to drop bodies. They can start to bring through the kills. Noda gone. Belchonic wiped away, and Jame is not close at hand. The bomb's going to go down. Jame might just give this a look because the scoreline is starting to get absolutely ridiculous. But it's Kenzie posted on the angle, op in hand. Gotta stare down one of the scariest scopes you could possibly face. And nade will prevent him from ever getting a peek, but tight to the angle, it's Alex. Jame, is he ready? Is he ready for this spot on the box? He's dropping. He's trying to fake flash. He's going to the rifle. He has the idea, but he doesn't have the spray. Sustained there from Alex, letting him know. Bringing the op into the final round. So there's more to play after that. So not so final at all, Alan.
No, sir. And I'll tell you what, PARIVISION have not produced any of their magic moments here on map 5 of this grand final. I mean, earlier in the series, Jame would have won a clutch like that. I thought it was going to happen when he got the nade onto Pit. It looked like destiny, but no. Fortunes were mistold. And look at the change of pace. No messing around with slow defaults anymore. Jame goes looking. And... sorry, Hedrick goes looking. And Jame picks up. Belchonic. Mid-stack looks good. That's more like it.
Yeah, finally. Finally an early round has broken the way of PARIVISION. Been a long time coming. And even if they run these remaining rounds, I mean, it's going to be a tough second half for them. For Alex, it's about damage. Every kill he can find is painful for Perry to bear. But only one is available to him. Upgrade for Travis. That is a very nice round for PARIVISION to finally find their second.
Alex is destroying them. 14-4. It's been a bizarre series, man. I really didn't foresee Bait potentially making it to Pro League without NPL or Kenzie Sword being right near the top, but they've seen the others. Hedrick last map, Alex this map. Outside of that, pretty much a team effort. Nota, good spawn, gets in first. Great flash. And more players behind him. Plenty Util as well onto Tree, and that is gruesome. 5v3 now. Ooh. I mean, at least there's life in the old dog yet.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a split here. I'm surprised the banana players aren't continuing on this. Nipple had a chance to put this one away. They know the players are off the site now, but that Molotov's going to slow them, and they cannot afford to be slowed. A flashbang through. Kicker capitalizes, even with the trade now. An impossible clutch for Alex. He's been phenomenal. He's been great. But now he has to ascend to another layer altogether. In towards Banana, isolating this fight. But it's Jame on the angle, and Jame is always waiting. Always patient. No clutch for you. That felt like the players being on different pages. When MPLs gained that purchase all the way through spawn, the banana players falling off, going back. What was the idea there, Alan?
I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I mean, it could be anybody's fault. It could be MPL not thoroughly explaining what he was doing. His teammates might have thought, oh, he's holding the B rotations. We can come back towards A. If we cause a bit of ruckus, he'll get a kill for free. But you're right. With the way it was developing, they need to be right up towards the end of Banana. Last round of the half, so Beta, of course, going to invest in this buy. Is the worst we've seen for a while. He's got a lot of util. And PARIVISION are scrambling to get at least a playable number of rounds. They get their go at the offense. They've had a lot of success on the B this half. I don't think you can blame them for going back.
No, that makes sense. It is the lighter of the two sites. Ooh. A little bit of a miss on that cross smoke. I think Kicker might have blocked it. That's going to leave a big gap for him to play within, and this little bit of a stall. Okay, it is traded by the Tech-9. Noda dancing on the pillar, cannot find safe haven, cannot find cover, and that smoke pop finds nothing more. So bomb now down. There's one more smoke to try and stall this. A Molotov picked up. That Molotov deployed. Keeps two players at bay for a moment. Resmoke on the cross is nice. That's in lay Travis. They do have kits. Beltronic can take out the new box. But here comes the motion. He's making noise. There's a second element to this. Jame, though, snaps around. How on earth? But even Jame with his mighty powers, he just doesn't have the time to pull this one through. Too many targets. Too few chances. A desperate stick. But a 9th round for bait as we swap sides. One final half of play. Perhaps that's all we need, but knowing these two teams, I don't know if it's going to be enough. We have avoided overtime so far this series, but for PARIVISION, it's a long road back into Inferno.
18-5 for Alex. Oof. He is hell bent on getting his team through to Pro League, kicking and screaming. some of the more traditional stars are not showing up to this series or map the fashion we expect, but he is playing lights out. MPL, though, will be the first tested, and he gives ground. Kenzie saw here, deeper line in apartments, but look at this, Mike. Bait, they're not moving. They're staying 3B. They don't realize what's coming.
He's a big-time player, that Alex. It was a multi-kill clutch from him to put them through into the major. And Kenzie Zor is stepping alongside in this round. That's the bomb. And that is a lot of trouble on for PARIVISION. They are overwhelmed. Enough Guardians here to guard this C4. Noda being whittled away. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. And those may be dealt out of the barrels of the dualies. Jame, what do you got? Because it better be magic. Has armor, at least. A flashbang if that changes the alchemy. But into head trick he goes. And now the element of surprise is not something that works in the favor of Jame. They will swing, they will swarm, and they will secure a double digits.
Free to go. And without a bomb plant, that only further limits PARIVISION's options, and they have decided we don't fancy handing bait any more rounds. When you buy like this, Mike, there's a risk here that you never get a good buy again. And you lose. They might have to force this whole game out from here. But they'd rather do that than hand bait any more of a lead. This is everything. It's Pro League or bust with this sort of buy. Options are limited. They don't have the util to do a slow take of banana and take long and maybe even all the way out into arch side. I think they might just have to go. They got nades primed. They're going to pop this smoke and they're going to make their move. Nobody around. Jame comes off to clear banana. They need to make a decision. They're running out of time.
Headtrick's coming looking.
This feels like a B split to me at the moment.
It does. This could be the opener. But Headtrick does catch the kill. Little lackadaisical. Didn't expect the second player there. It was slow in the walkaway. And now they're going to be coaxed back in towards A because of that kill. They were maybe thinking about the B split, but now the decision's been made for them. So the question is, for NPL and Kenzie Zor, how much time can they buy? 15 seconds if the bomb goes down here. Oh, and it has. And it has. I think that might just be the round. They don't know about NPL yet. And Nipple slips on through at the right moment. Can they stick that bomb? No. Too late to it. esenthial doesn't have to fight. The round is won for bait. They creep ever closer to being champions of the ESL Challenger League.
They were so close to having enough time there to plant. Let me watch this again. 8 seconds. I think it was about 6 seconds when they killed NPL. But you could just imagine the communication at that point would have been carnage for PARIVISION. They're going to buy in again. No surprises there. Desperation stations as bait are now 2 rounds away. It's not been the road we expected, Mike. Not at all. Their way potentially to Pro League. But this has been a championship level deciding map if they close it out in this sort of fashion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you press to the limits of the pool, when you pressed into that 4th map, when you started out slow, the ability to play yourselves back into shape. These are championship moments. Essentials coming back to reinforce the site at the right time. It's going to allow them to focus here on short and the balcony, knowing that they've got some coverage. Smokes could make this uncomfortable. There's still 3 of them available. But going for the deep smoke here is actually very much working in Essential's favor because he can peek forward, realize that they're not coming this direction. 35 seconds. They have to hit. They have to find this contact and the hold. He's looking strong. Here comes the strike. Kenzie Zor reveals himself, tries to battle on through, and actually both players lost. The wrap from Essential leaves that all onto the clutch of Travis. Here's a chance for the plant. They'll allow it to him to make sure that they have the numbers for this retake, but how on earth does he fight his way out of this? He'll try and go wide. He'll try and do the unexpected, but he will wind up in the crosshair of Alex 666, and he might be finding himself in his own personal hell because now PARIVISION need 9 rounds in a row to keep this map alive.
They've saved their best till last. This is the bait that cruised through the upper bracket. This is the bait that in other tournaments, they've beaten big teams, they've won big series. And they're about to punch their ticket to Pro League. It seems like destiny at this point. 9 chances. They can just trip over the finish line, surely. PARIVISION, of course, will play it out, but this just feels impossible. No scope for mistakes, and the mortar strike is clinical. 4 kills to go.
And James still been the difference maker for them this series, so now he's powerless. He has to sit back and watch his team. He cannot influence this from within the server. First big scalp claimed. If NPL gets too aggressive, this could be punished. Sure, that could be a problem here, but no. Always prepared, always ready. The captain of the squad sees them through to a 2-man advantage. A minute left, and at this point, just got to grab the bomb and hit something en masse because they're running out of nades. They're running out of crosshairs, and they're running out of tournament life.
This is the lesser defended site. It's the best chance they're going to get. They have some util. But a crossfire here on A, they haven't broken this crossfire for a while. There is a gap towards long.
Good damage, no kill. But that is the early warning system. Now these players are prepared. They're locked in. The moto smoke comes up. But if this is going to be a split towards B, they're running out of time. They're running out of a lot of time. So A will be the site of their intention from the pit. One found. The trade is there. That crossfire is lethal. And NPL brings them through. It took all 5 maps. We went the distance. They had to battle through the depths. They were facing elimination, but Bait found their reserve, and now Bait have done it through the upper bracket and into the